Let's talk about all the books that I read for the month of February. Welcome to this House of Books. My name is Ashley, and February was a really good reading month. No, I did not get through all of the books that I had intentionally set out to read. My gosh, that list was just outrageous. Not too long ago, just finished filming my March TBR, and so you'll see some of them have been transferred over to that month. But overall, it was a really good reading month. My handy dandy journal here. Open up to March, where I have my new pages. That's super cool, but I am actually going to flip back to my stats page. Editing Ashley here. I totally messed up and did not include a book that was supposed to be included in this. I don't have the physical copy, so of course then when I was going to put everything onto my stats page, it got lost. So I'm going to go over it all here. So for the month of February, I read 10 books, which is absolutely fantastic. It was a great reading month. 3 of those 10 were physical books. I really worked hard this month at reading more physical books. I really enjoy reading a physical book, but it is also nice to read audiobooks. But you can see in my number for physical books that I did make more of an effort. 7 of them were audio, and some of them I did start as a physical book and then switch to audio, but if I do that, I just count it as an audio. 2 of those 10 books were read-alouds that I did with my kids. And then I did have 2 DNFs, and I will talk about all of those here coming up soon. And then my total number of pages that I read was 3,394, which is amazing. That's about 400 more pages than I read in January. My average rating was 3.9. I did have a 1-star book, and so that brought it down. But then I did have quite a few 5-star books, and so that helped keep it up. If you saw my haul and unhaul video, you know that I hauled a lot of books this month. I hauled 13 books, and I unhauled 5. So maybe a little bit of a book buying ban here coming up, but at least I'm reading a lot of books. All right, let's get into my DNFs first. The first one was from my self-destruct pile of books, which is fine. That's why I have pulled them into a self-destruct pile. I either need to read them, DNF them, or just get rid of them. So I DNF'd The Atlas 6 by Olive Blake. This was my first book from her. I just, I made it 100 pages in. It's dark academia. I don't know that dark academia books are for me. And I don't even know that it's the characters are the problem, because I like books where they're not all likable characters. I just wasn't invested in this at all. And so I made it 100 pages in. It's only 350 pages long. And I thought, you know what? It's not for me. So it will be moving on. I'm just going to put that down there. The next I did talk about in my reading vlog for this month, and that was Under Lock and Key by Lana Ferguson. I did not make it as far into this. I think I made it 30, maybe 40 pages in. I didn't like the main female character. She just comes off very hoity-toity, I know it all, even though I'm going to this country that I know nothing about, and there's big, dark family secrets that I don't fully understand, but I'm right about everything. Nope, didn't like it. And then I read the reviews, and I like a good romance. But I read many reviews on this where it was just put too much almost. And I'm yeah, I don't care. I don't care enough. So that one will be going. I am sad. It is a signed copy, but whatever. Now let's get into the books that I did fully finish. So I'm going to start with the books that I read with my kids as read-alouds. The first one, we actually just finished it. and it is my lowest rated of the month. So I thought, you know what, let's get it out of the way as well with the DNFs. So this is Stowaway by Karen Hess. This, you are following a boy as he stowaways on Captain James Cook's ship as he sails around the world. It's told in a diary format, and I just found it very, very bland. It's really like a diary entry, but not, I don't know, there wasn't a ton of like character development or dialogue back and forth. It's really just like journal entries. And it just wasn't for me. I will say that my son did give it 4.5 stars. I am giving it 1 star. We'll put them there. All right, then my other read aloud book that we did was the complete opposite. I gave it 5 stars. I really, really enjoyed it. And that was The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. I loved everything about this. It was funny and witty and just trying to follow as this guy from Earth, his friend is telling him that Earth is ending and they hitchhike onto a ship in space, and it continues. It is not a very long book, but like it packed a punch and I just really enjoyed it, and that the kind of British humor in it really came out, and I enjoy books like that. So it was a 5-star book. And my next book, I had been reading this since September, but I was going really slowly. I was only picking it up some mornings that I was just kind of waking up early. I've been really trying to be better about like waking up before my kids, coming out, having a cup of coffee, and doing a little bit of reading. And that's where I'm also doing like some nonfiction reading. I am not a big nonfiction reader, but I would like to do more of that. So I had been going through The Brave Learner by Julie Bogart. I had tabbed this, as you can see my million tabs here, and they were only about 4 to maybe 8 pages long per tab, and that was fine. Like, I sat down, I read a little bit, and then I put it down, and I might scroll then or pick up a different book. So I did go through this. It was a reread. The first time that I did it was, I think, in 2021 when the book first came out, as we were really new to homeschooling. And it was okay then. I did hear Julie Bogart speak last year at a homeschool convention, and so I got this, and it is a signed copy right there. And so I thought, you know what, let me go through it again. This time I did go through and not necessarily annotate. There was some highlighting that happened, as you can see. I'm giving it 3.5 stars. I think that there's some good points to take from this. I do think that it comes off, though, very much like one size fits all. You know, we're all in homeschooling for different reasons, and some of it is that our kids don't fit all sizes. You know, like, we need to kind of rework some things. That's just how it came off to me. And just some of the things didn't work for me or our family or what I think should go into homeschooling. But then there were some things that I did take from it. If you follow my homeschooling channel, you will see in our February kind of update and wrap up that we have started free writing every morning, and that I got from here. So there were some things that I took away from this, but also a lot of it was just like, yep. But I'm glad that I read it. All right. Then, for my shortest book of the month, so I read this for our booked book club, and I can't wait to talk about it this weekend with everybody. But that was I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Hartman. Wow, this book is going to stick with me forever. It is slightly reminiscent to The Road by Cormac McCarthy, but even more so. So it is classified as sci-fi, and I was talking about it with friends. I'm like, I guess it's sci-fi, but that's the thing. Like, you never fully get answers in this book. So if you are wanting a lot of answers going into this book, you're not going to get it. But that is such a huge part of it that I thought it was fantastic. At the beginning of this book, you are following a teenage girl who is trapped in a cage in a bunker underground with 40 women. And at all points of the day, there are at least 3 guards kind of walking around, but they're not interacting with anybody. They're really there just to keep them in line. They get food twice a day, the lights dim at night, get brighter during the daytime. Then something happens and the story goes. I loved this. I thought it was really, really good. I gave it 4.5 stars. And I'm going to stick with that. Like, I feel like that's pretty good. Though we'll see. Like, yeah, I'm going to stick with my initial reaction. Is 4.5 stars. It wasn't quite a 5-star, like, best book. It's really, really good. But I'm going to stick with the 4.5 stars. I think that for one of my in-person book clubs, we're going to add this to the list because it is a really, really amazing book. Yeah, let's do that. My next 4 books all have a similar theme in their title or author. So see if you can see what it is. It was completely unintentional. It wasn't until I was like writing down all the books in my book journal that I was like, seriously? Like, how many of these? And then there was another one. Really funny. But let's talk about them. So the first one that I have to talk about is Heartless Hunter by Kristen Cicerelli. It wasn't for me. I did talk about it extensively in a reading vlog, so that's linked down below if you want to go check that out. You know, it's YA. It just wasn't for me. It's about witches. I'm looking for a really, really good recommendation for kind of romantasy, witchy, not YA book. So if you know of any, let me know down below. Like, I have not had a ton of luck with witch books lately. So this, you're following I don't know how old she is, 18 to 20-year-old witch, and she is in hiding. There has been a revolution and they hunt witches. And then of course something happens with a witch hunter. It just fell flat for me. Like, a huge theme in it was all about clothes. And I don't know that that is a thing that I like in my books. There was another book that kind of talked about that I read this month, but not as a like main plot point like this one did. I gave it 3 stars. I will not be picking up the second one, which is unfortunate. It's a duology. Like, I love finishing a series in 2 books and, like, you know, that little check mark. This wasn't it for me, but that's okay. All right, a romantasy that did work for me for this month was Quicksilver by Callie Hart. Yeah, 5 stars. I really, really enjoyed this. I think that a lot of us are chasing that like high that we got from Akatar by Sarah J. Maas. I know at least within like some friends of mine that we have all read it. Like, we're constantly looking for that. This might have done it. I really, really enjoyed it. And as much as I do not like the cover, like, come on, I'm a 30-some-year-old woman. Like, I need a different cover than this. So this, you're following Saris, who ends up pickpocketing the wrong thing and ends up at the palace, and things happened, and then she is transported into the Fae world where she meets Kingfisher and other Fae, and the story progresses. I really, really enjoyed it. I thought the magic was really cool. Their romance I liked. You know, he's tall, dark, broody. I'm good. Just absolutely enjoyed it. I ate it up. It's 600 pages. I will be reading the next one of this. And I have also had 2 of my friends start reading it since, because I want to talk about it with them. All right, so that's 2 books with a similar theme. So here is the third one, which is Our Missing Hearts by Celeste Ng. This was for one of my in-person book clubs, and I really, really liked it. A little close to things that are currently happening, but it was so well done. I am giving this 5 stars. So you are following 12-year-old Bird, who lives with his father, who is white. Bird's mother was Chinese. She has left the family, but there has been something that has happened. There was a crisis that happened, and Bird's father is telling him, like, just don't make trouble. Just, you go to school, you come home, don't bring attention to yourself. This crisis was blamed on Chinese. And so then anybody of Asian descent was put through it. Like I said, it hit really, really close to home. And I think all of us who read it for book club felt that way. But I think it was so well done. The one thing that I have noticed for Celeste Ng, she does not put a nice little bow at the end of a story. There are still unanswered questions, but this storyline is done. So I really, really enjoyed it. I am glad that we picked it up for book club and read it. The next book was for Buzzword, and it had to have water words in the title, so I picked Shark Heart by Emily Habeck. All right, so this is it. Do you see the connection between these books? We have Shark Heart, Heartless Hunter, Quicksilver by Callie Hart, and Our Missing Hearts by Celeste Ng. All hearts. I got a kick out of that. I do love hearts, so, it kind of worked. So did this book. I am giving this 5 stars. I thought that this was really, really fascinating, that people in this form of reality can either be born a different animal or they turn into a different animal. In this case, you are following a married couple who basically right as soon as they get married, the husband starts noticing that he has some issues going on, and so goes to the doctor, and they tell him that he is turning into a shark. It's such a weird concept, but it really, really worked. The way that she delivered this story was so fascinating and interesting. You're even kind of jumping timelines quite a bit, which sometimes doesn't work. I think that it completely worked for this story. I really, really enjoyed it. And this was one of the books that I was able to physically read because literally there's so many pages that look like this. And so it is a really fast read that I was just thoroughly entertained with. Why did I have a page folded down? Why did I have that folded down? Oh yeah, I liked this page. Okay. I don't annotate my books or anything like that, but I liked this. As they say in the theater, suspend your disbelief. Otherwise, the reality of this world is very much like yours and mine. And I think that really sums this book up perfectly. All right, and then my last book to talk about, it was another Buzzword book, but it was for January, and I just didn't finish it in January. I had started it physically and picked up the audio and finished it that way. But that is True Biz by Sarah Novick. I did give this 3 stars. I just didn't fully like the characters and their kind of development and what the choices that they were making for no obviously good reason. I like characters that aren't necessarily good people. But I will say that I want there to be a reason that they're making the choices that they are, and there were just a lot of dumb choices in this. So this you're following a deaf school. So you're following the headmaster of that school and then a couple of the students and just kind of their stories and things that are happening. I just finished filming this and looked at my book journal and realized there's a book that I didn't include in this stack because I don't have the physical copy yet. I have it coming from Book of the Month. So I need to talk about it because I did finish it in this month. And that was Beautiful Ugly by Alice Feeney. This is for my in-person book club and we are meeting next week. And usually I spend that first little bit of the month reading that book. I was able to read it now and finish it, and I did enjoy it. I gave it 4 stars. It's a thriller, which is, it's hit or miss for me, but I did really enjoy it. This, you are following a man whose wife went missing a year before. He is an author. His agent is his wife's godmother, and so there's some stuff going on. She says, hey, you're in a bad place. but I need you to write another book. So go to this island off of Scotland and write this book. There's a cabin there by this best-selling author, and he left the cabin to me. He has died. Go take advantage of that space and write the next book. Of course, he gets there and things start to happen, and it just goes on from there. You know what? It was good. I really, really enjoyed it. I am interested to see what everybody else in the book club thinks about it, and I think it's going to be a really good discussion. All right, there we are. That's the books. Here, I'll put these on top so you can see them better. 9 books. I will take that. I thought it was a fantastic month. I have found some definite favorites, and I got through some other books and found out that they were not for me. We will see what March brings, but February was good. If you like this or anything else that I post here on this channel, make sure to like and subscribe down below, and I will be back for more soon.